saving all my love for you. I'll wait forever if you want me to. Saving all my love for you. I'll wait forever if you want me to. Saving all my love for you. Wait forever if you want me to. Saving all my love for you. Wait forever if you want me to.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel, where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome to one of those really awesome episodes of do-it-yourself budget hot rodding. Before we dive into the topic of the day, you probably again notice this room looks different than where we're used to seeing you. Well, this is actually where I go now to record videos, kind of like what we're doing right now. If I'm doing small projects, or I just need to talk to y'all about an important subject, which I've got one of those coming up very quickly, this is a good spot to do it. Along with that, if I'm working on small projects, things like that, I can come to this room and do the video for you guys, and it doesn't interfere with the rest of the family. So I can do my work, not have the family have to plan their life around me, and vice versa. So it makes things so much easier. So kind of a cool deal. But in today's topic, we're going to talk about Project Spirit, but we're going to do it in a way that will help some of you who are in the restoration scene. Now, real quick, when you're rebuilding a vehicle, you might be asking the question, am I going to restore this piece? Am I going to replace this piece? Or am I going to have to fabricate a new piece? It doesn't really matter, but in some way, shape, or form, you might be asking yourself, can I restore this part? Do I need to replace this part? Or am I going to have to build one from scratch? Those are the kind of the three things that you're going to be dealing with when rebuilding a vehicle. So the first thing out of the gate that we're going to talk about in relation to this video, there are some of you that have gotten lucky enough to find one of those very old cars, I'm going to say from the 1960s, because those are all antiques now, despite all the beautiful classics came out of the 60s. No, those are antiques. I hate to be the one to tell you guys this. Cars of the 70s, they're antiques. Cars of the 80s are antiques, and now we're getting into where the cars of the 90s and cars in the 2000s are now antique, which is kind of crazy to think about. We're getting to that stage now in September 2024. We're now getting to the point where we have vehicles that are quickly becoming antiques, very quickly. So as we're kind of talking about this. It's 2024. Well, next year we have vehicles in 2000s becoming antiques, 25 and older, okay? But if you have those antique cars and you want to, do a car show where it's restored vehicles, you run into this whole thing where when they judge a vehicle, the bolts have to be matching, the numbers that were used on that specific line to build the vehicle, all right? And that sounds kind of almost crazy, but no, this is a thing. Now, you can, in most cases, buy the reproduction numbers, but if you have, but that can get pricey. And you could just go to the local auto parts store and buy the replacement bolts, but they're not going to be matching numbers. So when you take your restored vehicle to a car show, you run the risk of you run the risk of them counting off if they look at a certain bolt and it's not numbers matching. So what do? Again, we can buy the the reproductions a lot of times, and we can buy them sometimes even from a dealership, depending on the age of the vehicle, and we can get lucky there. But that can get pricey. So what's another solution? All right, there's obviously going to be a cheaper solution, and that really falls on taking the original ones that came off the vehicle, and if they're not stripped or too chewed up or anything like that, we can sometimes do something with that. And in this particular case, as you can tell, this is a very, very rusty bolt off of Project Spirit. This is actually part of the bumper bracket system that bolts onto Project Spirit. I've been removing, trying to get back to that front, the front clip and everything. As I'm moving my way back, I'm having to take parts off. What do? If the bolt isn't chewed up, well, I have a process that I put them through, and they come out looking actually almost brand new all over again. There's just a few of them. And bear in mind, these bolts are 50 years old. So Prince Magnum, obviously, if the bolts are in good shape and that sort of thing, and you're getting them looking like that, obviously there's something you're doing. Now bear in mind, the new garage/shop does not have enough room for one of those bead blaster things. Some people have got enough room where they can, put a part in there and hit it with the speed blaster, and it comes out amazing. But those can get very pricey. There's another cheap solution, and I'm going to show that solution to you guys right now. Alrighty, folks, welcome to the Prince Magnum channel shop. And currently right now, in this little thing right here, you hear making all the racket, this is actually a rock tumbler that we picked up from, believe it or not, just Walmart. About $30–40, and it has more uses than polishing rocks. We use it for nuts and bolts and fixtures, just like this one right here. And let me show you what I mean. I'm going to go ahead and shut this thing off, and to keep it from rattling around, we're going to put this this bumper bracket for Project Spirit to use besides holding the bumper. And I'm going to take and using the mixture that was that came with it, I'm going to reach down in here and pull a few of these pieces out. It's actually really, really cool what you can do here, okay? But where you get these pieces out, right like this, and I'll even have to come up to the camera and show you, but it's really kind of awesome what we could do with these pieces. But we'll take a paper towel, some paper towels just like this right here, tear those loose, and dry them off real good. Now your hands are going to get kind of nasty with like this rusty water sort of thing. Just expect that like you expect water when it rains. But we'll dry these off real quick. It's really cool because now what was once a super rusty bolt is no longer a super rusty bolt or fixture for that matter. It's really, really neat what you can do with basically just kind of like a kid's toy in the, like a hobby section. But after getting these dry, there we go. Let me bring them up to the camera real quick and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. You can see that looks a lot better. And these are just fixtures that you'll find typically all over Project Spirit. And these pieces have now been restored to near factory condition. Now we'll obviously have to shoot some sort of a paint on it, otherwise the process will start all over again. But you guys get the general idea here. you could take these and clean them up real good, just like you see right here. And you can, as long as you keep adding water to it, you might have to eventually get the sand that comes with the kit. You'll have to get more of it, but generally speaking, I've done, that whole little box. It's got several little bolts, nuts and bolts and fixtures right in there, and by and large, I mean, even if this quits right now, for reproduction bolts that would have been found on Project Spirit during that time, if I was doing a restoration, would cost me an arm and a leg. So yeah, I have matching numbers now, and these are the ones that were on there, and they weren't in bad shape coming off, so I can reuse these, and I'm not just putting rusty bolts back on. So for those of you out there who do, those full restorations, and you do the car shows that, if you will, these car shows, involve, having as much original as possible, and sometimes they go so deep where they're actually going over the matching numbers for nuts, bolts, and fixtures and things like that. Well, now you guys know how to do it, and it saves you a lot of money. So $40 compared to hundreds of dollars for the reproduction, that just makes a whole lot more sense. And in my case, I'm lucky enough that the car hasn't been apart a whole lot over the years, so I'm not just sitting there, trying to, deal with the fact that the nuts and bolts and everything has been monkeyed with a lot. So kind of a cool thing. Now, again, it's just simple rock tumbler they use to polish rocks. And again, you can use this for removing rust off of old parts, just like this. And I remember whenever we were getting it, they kind of looked at me and thought, "Oh, you're getting into jewelry making?" Nope. Using it for a car. And they didn't understand until I explained it to them. They said, "Never heard of that before." Now, many of you might be asking the question, where did you get the idea for this? That's an easy one. I learned this one from my dad. Alrighty. So I hope all of you got a little something out of this. I know I always enjoy bringing you guys content just like this. This is just one of those cool little DIY tips that I hope that you guys out there who are into restoring old cars, maybe you could take that with you to the bank and use that to your advantage, out there in that world of restoring, keeping our classics and antiques alive and well. Alright, so that brings us to a good stopping point for this particular video. If you want to help with the Prince Magnum channel in providing content just like this, there's a couple of ways to go about it. First and foremost, get on over to Patreon, $1 a month, and all proceeds will go right back into the project cars, which is a pretty sweet deal, because $1 a month is not that much to ask for. And we have been doing our best to try to provide you with something that, to at least say, hey, there's something to get back on this. So we opened up Discord. We've got a Discord server, that's, the Cinnamon Discord server. And $1 a month grants you access to that. And it's for adults only. So 18 and older, please. Don't be trying to jack your mom's credit card. Anyhow, I know I've heard of kids doing that as of recent. Along with that, we have the Teespring store. Project Spirit, Project Lena, the Chickens Are People too, Cinnamon merch. We've got merchandise of all sizes and shapes. Get on over there and get yourself some Prince Magnum channel merchandise. Again, there's merchandise for pretty much everybody out there. And of course, that brings us to the spot where I remind all of you, get out there and work on a project. Don't care what it is, just do something with yourselves. Remember, idle hands and a creative mind go together like oil and water. If you have a sweetheart, sweep them off their feet and do something special for them today. And as always, for every last one of you out there, If no one out there has told you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you, and have a happy 24. Thank you.
I admire your honesty. Hell, I like you. You can come over to my house and fuck my sister.